Wasn't expecting to see 4 Ferrari 275s in one place today. This C-Type and D-Type are actually official Jaguar continuation cars. That would actually scrub up really nice, that I reckon. I wonder if it is the GTR 4. 27-litre V12. Wow. Today on CarTraction, you join us inside one of the many amazing World War II hangars here at the Bicester Heritage Centre. But we're not actually here for the World War II history, although it is very interesting. We're here for the Sunday Scramble classic car search, a show where you get absolutely tons of classic cars and vintage cars, and some of the stuff here you get is very, very rare. We are hideously early in the Jaguar XJ8, but look, the autojumble's back, which is great. For a bit this was like the collecting car stand, but the autojumble's back. We've got some money on the, as we're this early, we might as well have a look around here, and very, very shortly we'll head over into the main show, because I can absolutely promise you there will be some classic car gems in there. Well, here's some unique garage wall art for you. Just beyond, the Renault Spider with the tyre writing, and the Renault Clio Williams 2 is an absolutely fantastic car. We'll hop over to get a look at this. This is an AC Aceca, which is the hardtop version of the AC Ace, the AC Ace Roadster, powered by a Bristol engine and also a Ford engine, both 6-cylinder engines. This could be either. Interestingly, this is a left-hand drive AC Aceca, which, as I said, is the hardtop version of the AC Ace sports car, which was the basis of the AC Cobra sports car with the big V8 when Shelby came along. But this is still the original British 6-cylinder powered car. This is the GT variant, which I actually really like the look of. There's quite a juicy set of side pipes on this particular car, twin side pipes. I think it's either a Ford Zephyr straight 6 or a Bristol engineered single cam, probably straight 6 engine. Disc brakes all round. Here's the front of the Aceca, the recognisable AC Ace / AC Cobra front. But this is the hardtop GT, a bit of a racing livery. There's a rally car revving in the background. Absolutely stunning, stunning looking car in left-hand drive form. Also very cool. That is just gorgeous. Here's the Skoda rally car we were hearing just a minute ago, and it does seem that the theme for this area, for this particular Bicester Sunday Scramble Classic Car Show, is rally cars, or at least homologation cars that were rallied, say, in the WRC Championship, such as this Vauxhall Savette. It's quite clearly a road car, but these were quite successful in rallying all across the globe. Here's a bit of Group B. This is a Ford RS200, the Tolman edition, which I think is a more modern resto mod of the old RS200. Sunbeam Talbot Lotus, very desirable car nowadays. The 2 Marshall spot lamps, and this is a very, very tasty looking Mark II Ford Escort. This actually looks to be a road track car as opposed to a rally car. It's too low for rallying, and it's only got 1 seat. Rallying obviously needed co-drivers, so you need 2 seats, so judging by that, this is a fantastically prepared wide body Mark II Ford Escort circuit car.
It's probably a better system actually, but it's not. It didn't make quite as good powers.
Some real rarities under the trees here. This is some form of very, very rare Alfa Romeo 1600Z. Never heard of this model of Alfa Romeo before. There's obviously lots of Alfa Romeo design cues, probably early to mid-19s, probably more likely mid-1970s. The Z would probably indicate Zagato designed. Certainly does look like a Zagato and an Alfa Romeo 1600 Zagato. I think I've seen a race prep one of these. I've never actually seen the original road car, so that's a It's a very interesting spot, that one, next to a Peugeot. I think that's a 106 Rally. This is probably an Elvis TD21 by the looks of it. These were sold as the TD21 and the TE21, and this one is indeed the TD21. There was also the TE21, which was a later car, which had two lamps stacked like that, similar sort of Mercedes design actually, but this is the earlier TD21. Beautiful, beautiful classic British roadster. Over there is a very low, as indicated by its registration, Ferrari 308. Sunbeam Tiger, that's the V8 powered Sunbeam Alpine effectively. Daimler Dart, that's an SP250. It's a good looking car, that one, isn't it? I do like these. Let's have a little look at this. It's the Edward Turner designed Daimler V8 engine, 2.5 litre design, which is a great engine, to be honest. It's also the engine that went into the Daimler variant of the Jaguar Mark IIs. I'm sure that'll make a lovely sound, as would the Sunbeam Tiger. Those produced from 64 to 67. It's a Series 1 E-Type here. Another lovely classic British car, Jaguar S-Type as well. Often mistaken for the likes of the Jaguar Mark II, but this is actually a very different car, especially if you go around the back. These S-Types, later evolution, having fully independent rear suspension at the back, as opposed to the Mark II Jaguars, the earlier cars, a 3.8S. This one, it's a Honda NSX over there. We saw this Ferrari Testarossa on the way in. There's a flat 12 in those, very iconic design. Now, infiltrating on the Aston Martin works stand, we find a very interesting car now. At a first glance, this looks to be any normal Lancia Stratos, but this has a 2022 plate on it, and you can see from the design cues this looks to be a later, either a recreation or evolution of the original Lancia Stratos. Very good looking car, never seen it before. Retro power, maybe some kind of resto mod. Clearly all built with new parts, new engine technology, etc. But yeah, that's quite an interesting take on the classic Lancia Stratos HF design. One miniature Bugatti and one full-size Bugatti. That is one very, very lovely patinated original Bugatti Type 35 by the looks of it. The one in front here is actually a modern creation. This is from the Little Car Company of their stand here, which we'll look at in a few minutes. They make very faithful recreations, pedal car sizes effectively, of the original cars. That is one stunning and very original Type 35 Bugatti. Another one of the classic car businesses based here at the Bicester Heritage Centre is the Starter Motor Club, encouraging the next generation into historic motoring. That is one lovely little Austin 7 Special I haven't seen before. Quite a unique little body when compared to the likes of the typical Ulsters. There's a gorgeous Aston Martin here as well, pre-war, quite an early Aston Martin. Just beyond the Morgan, it's just starting to rain. They have a Riley 1.5 here. This is very much a club that I plan to get involved in one day. Morris Minor, 1953, that one, quite an early one. Another beautiful Bugatti. Let's get a good look at this one, just beyond the Austin A30. This is most likely a Type 35. I think having this hole in the side of the bonnet indicates this is a supercharged model, all of these having a straight 8-cylinder engine. That's one absolutely gorgeous interior. Let's get another look at that. Wow. And here we are now in the Austin Pedal Cars stand. This is the racing variant. This is known as the Austin Pathfinder. This particular little pedal car. These were built, I think, 1949 to 1950, the original ones. And the most desirable child's pedal cars out there. Wow. That is absolutely glorious, that. These J40s were built for a very long time, since sort of 50s to the 70s I think, but these were only built for a year, making these Pathfinders much rarer. These are based on, I think it's the overhead cam Austin 7 Special. It was a pre-war Austin 7 car, and then they did the sort of pedal car in the 1949. The original Austin Motor Company actually employed, I think it was disabled mining workers to build these child's pedal cars. So they do have a good story behind them, the original ones, and it's great to see them still being recreated today. I've never actually had a look at the J40 Austin continuation setup here, so yeah, very, very interesting to see all of these. That looks like a fairly new one by the looks of it, and that's quite a livery on that J40. Well, that's one of the best ways to lose your hearing. This is, I think a car we might have seen at the flywheel. This is a 1926 Hispano-Suiza Delage, and the absolutely incredible engine is from a First World War fighter plane. We've got these two huge banks. I think it goes without saying there's not much silencing with this one.
One leading, one trailing.
You can actually see where the exhaust fumes have burnt away the paint on the back of this beautiful aero-engined Delage. Aeroplane engines in cars is just so cool. We can get a little look at the interior. I think we might have seen this running at the flywheel, but it certainly does seem a lot louder up close. These absolutely huge spoked rims. Wow.
Smells and so what, as well as difficult. It's almost 100 years old, this thing. And you know, this is a remarkable thing, isn't it? That we're still getting
So the specific engine of this one is a 27 litre V12. You can obviously see the two huge banks here of 6 cylinders on either side, I should say. 1800 kilograms, this one, 600 brake horsepower and 2,200 pounds of torque. Max RPM is 2,100, 3-speed straight cut gears. This particular body iteration was for the land speed record. So the actual chassis is from a Delage from 1930. It seems to date from 1926. Let's have a look at this engine there. It seems to look like we have 2 spark plugs either side per cylinder on this particular aero engine. As I said, 27 litre V12. Very nice and warm engine, that. A couple of other little pre-war races on this stand, a couple of little Austin 7 specials. This is your far more sort of typical Austin 7 special. This is an Ulster, this one from 1930, and this is a great looking little race car. This is kind of similar to what the Austin Pathfinder is based on, but it's also sort of not, because this one is still the side valve 747cc Austin 7 engine. Great looking little car. That's obviously the bonnet right there, it's just been removed. Tiny engine, but in a car like that would actually go really well. And the Aston Martin, it's a stunning Ford GT40. Just behind that, another Ford GT40. This is actually the Heritage Skills Academy stand, who offer sort of apprenticeships for young people like me who want to get into classic car restoration. There's all good things going on here at the Bicester Heritage Centre. Look at those carburettors. Very interesting cutaway engine here at the Heritage Skills Academy stand, judged by the BMC badges and just the look of the engine. It looks to be a BMC A series engine. You can see the SU carburetors cutaway there. It looks to be a slightly smaller capacity BMC A series, maybe like an 850 or something. Doesn't look quite as big for like a 1098 like Morris Minor. This is super interesting to see all the sort of valve assembly, the internals of the SU carburetor all exposed. I presume, judging by the original BMC markings, this is actually an original BMC model for education regarding the BMC A series engine. It's a very, very interesting model there. And as I said, yeah, there's quite a collection of Ford GT40s. There's actually two Morris Minor 1000 Travelers. This one in a slightly pink colour, which is quite unusual. These are modern recreations of the classic Ford GT40 Le Mans race car. So you can see this one actually dates from 2023, which means it's registered in 2023. So Triumph Herald 1360. I think we'll have to have a look at that stunning American in a moment. This is a very nice little Ginetta. Now I think this one's also actually a more modern resto mod, like a recreation of the earlier Ginettas. I don't know which G it would be. G4, I think that one is actually. But I think that's actually a modern recreation, perhaps, or at least a resto mod, some slightly modern parts put onto a classic racer, I don't know. Very nice humps in the bonnet there. Yeah, very good looking little car. Austin 7 Ruby here. There's a very smart stacked headlight Mercedes. That'll be the W108 or the 109, I think, dependent on what engine it has. This is a 280 SE, 3.5 litre V8, so I think that would be a W109. Incredible quality car, that. Here is a, what is this then? A Merryweather. There we go, Merryweather fire engine. On this one we have a side valve 6-cylinder engine, which I'm sure will make a lovely burble. Very nice and original indeed. Morris Minor, split window, but look at this. This is a Buick Super 8 Roadmaster Dynaflow or something like that. Just the design features on this are just glorious, aren't they? The Americans really did know what they were doing with their design. The combined spot lamp and rear view mirror. Wow. The mint green looks so good in this. Yeah, that's just an insane looking car, isn't it? The good thing about Bicester Heritages is just the absolute amazing variety of things you get turning up at the Sunday Scramble. I obviously was intending to look at the cars under the canopy here, but I got very distracted by the booming Delage aero-engined race car. So we're back at the Dino. All these cars are for sale. This is the Lotus Custard Climax. That's quite a funny play on that Lotus. I'm not sure what model Lotus it is, 1957, but this would most likely have a Coventry Climax engineered engine. That was a weird sentence, that, but it's quite funny. Custard Climax, obviously, because it's yellow. Quite a funny take on this 1957 Lotus, obviously a period racing car. This one featherweight race car, that one for £145,000. This is a 930 era Porsche 911 TAG turbo. That's quite a bit of kit, that one. This is a curious little special. Broad Arrow, this one is apparently. Oh no, that's just the name of the auctioneer, never mind. It looks, This is a very, very unusual little special. We've got Elvis on the back, but it looks too small for an Elvis to me. Really good looking car though. I love this little number 3 on the back. That sort of suspender there looks so good, but that's a curious little car, that one, isn't it? Very, very unusual. And there's a sort of later, this is obviously the 30s era racer. This is a 1950s most likely era racer, this one. It's a Fraser Nash Targa Florio. This one is from 1951. This sort of thing would have been competing in the Mille Miglia races, the road races in its time. It's $575,000 for that glorious classic Fraser-Nash 51 actually, so that is quite early. That just looks lovely. Period correct Avon cross-ply tyres with wire wheels. Beautiful original seats. That's gorgeous. The little aero screen. It's a two-seater, this one, probably for a navigator for the likes of the Mille Miglia races. That's a beautiful pairing of different eras of race cars. This is a gorgeous, really early actually Jaguar E-Type. This is Series 1, so it's early anyway, but this is a super early one. This is a flat floor roadster, also having the external door handles. It looks a little bit race modified, this one, but 1962, very early Jaguar E-Type there. Super rare, being of that year. Stunning period race car. So a viewer of the channel actually just came up to me, and apparently this is not your usual Porsche 911. This is the Tag Turbo. I didn't know what that means, but apparently this has like a Formula 1 race engine, the sort of thing Alan Prost would have driven apparently, but that's quite a creation if it is. It's left-hand drive, interestingly, but yeah, that with a huge sort of Formula 1 basically engine in the back could make for quite an exciting car. Quite a bit of photography going on around these Porsches. There's two 911s and a gorgeous 356 Speedster. I'm actually doing quite a few detailed photos for the CarTraction Instagram. If you want to have a look at some of the detailed aspects of these cars I couldn't show in the YouTube video, head over to Instagram, CarTraction_vids. I'll probably get a few snaps of these ones as well. This is an especially tasty mid to early sort of 1970s era Porsche 911. Glorious racing car. We'll nip through here now, see what gems lurk over here. Well, this is a very special pair of cars. We'll start with the British counterpart first. This is a XJC race car, better known as the Broadspeed Jaguar racing car. V12 in these. It's a very sort of highly strung variant of the Jaguar XJ V12 5.3 engine. It's based on the Series 2 Jaguar XJ, the Broadspeed Jaguar XJC. This is actually a later tribute to the original XJC Broadspeed cars, but I'm sure that would sound just as fantastic. Absolutely great in the British Leyland livery. And just next to it is a car we actually saw on the way over here on the motorway. We saw this one. It's the German counterpart. These would have been sort of competing against each other. Maybe a slightly earlier era, this Mercedes, but only by a few years. Great spoiler on that Broadspeed Jag. So this is a V8 in them. This is like an SEL 6.3 Mercedes period race car in the iconic livery. Probably like 450 brake horsepower, something out of that huge 6.3, I think it's probably about 6.3 litre V8 motor under there. Fantastic period race car, just such an iconic livery and design. Just absolutely great to see these two pairs, both racing cars from a very similar era, together here at the Bicester Heritage Sunday Scramble car show. Remember that miniature Bugatti we saw earlier? Well, this is where they're made, and they also make a range of other cars. This is the Little Car Company here, who basically make very faithful recreations of classic race cars and sports cars. So they make these, the Ferrari 250 TRs. Have a little guess as to roughly how much these cost while I waffle about them. This is a miniature Bugatti Type 35. This is like their press car, 250 TR, the black and white, gorgeous car. Actually a Ferrari licensed product. They're powered by little electric engines. These start at roughly £100,000, so it's quite an expensive child's toy. But I mean, if you got a 250 TR in full size, then you might as well, mightn't you? And here's, I'd imagine this might be quite a bit more than 100,000. This is I think it's a 0.75 times size blower Bentley. Just, they're incredible. This one's actually road registered, I think. Incredible recreations. Nice to get back to some pre-war cars. The 1930s cars are probably my favourite era of cars, really. Got this stunning, nicely patinated Alvis, probably a Speed 25, that glorious car. But one of the places I always have to come and have a look at whenever it's a Sunday Scramble is this. This is another one of the permanent businesses on the Bicester Heritage Centre Park. This is the motor shed. Oh! Okay, we're going to skip over all these because I see something. We'll have a look at all these lovely pre-war cars in a moment. But on the end here is a Renault 4CV. Now this is actually quite a late one on these steel wheels. Now this is an original French one, so yeah, that's quite interesting. I believe the French ones are these. They're slightly different design features, obviously left-hand drive. It should have a different dash. That's interesting. It's the same dash as our own, but I think the quarter lights are a little bit bigger on the French market ones. These were sold in France as the Renault 4 Chevaux, Renault 4CV, and they were sold in England and Britain in general as the Renault 750 because it's a 750cc engine in the back there. We will look at all these cars in a moment. We were actually testing out our little Renault just yesterday. So that was roaming around South Cheshire yesterday, but it's great to see another one. This one's probably later than ours. Ours is 1954. It's very interesting to see. Yeah, ours is obviously a UK market car, as I mentioned, right-hand drive. Very, very similar though. There's a great looking little Lotus. Do you like this one, Dad? The dash is the same style as ours because I thought it'd be different. It's a cool colour. It's later on these wheels, isn't it? It's a sort of like 59, something like that. And ours is the little 4, yeah. But this one has Renault badges on it. Yeah, have a look at the back. There's like a really nice little Renault. Yes, we've got that on the little horn. Yeah, if we go around the back of this one, ours doesn't have a Renault badge, but it's this little plaque here, which is actually really nice, isn't it? Yeah. That's the same as us as well.
Usually you'd think that was the fuel filler, but no, that is for the coolant. That's where you put your coolant in there. The fuel filler, you have to open the boot, and it's over there.
And pour it over the battery. Yeah, it's kind of like there. It's French. It's strange. That is very nice. It'd be interesting to look at the engine actually, wouldn't it? I'd like to, because if it's got the original carb or something.
Yes.
So ours is a Solex, is it? Or is Solex original? I feel like ours is a Weber, I think. And the Solex was the original carb. It's great to see another Renault 4CV. That's another sort of car from our collection. And that one, we're in the Jaguar XJ8 today because it is a long drive over, and yeah, you want something that's good for long distances and something that has lights powerful enough to illuminate the road at least a little bit at 5 AM because 6-volt lamps on a Ford V8 Pilot or something don't work that well. There's a Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow. This is a really nice little thing. This looks to be a Morris 8 Series 1. Oh, yeah, Morris 8 Series 1 van by the looks of it. This one, as the Porsche rolls past, but yeah, Morris 8 Series 1 van. That's a lovely, lovely thing. I think the pre-war era of cars are just so cool. There's this Lotus here, period race car. There's the Renault. Interesting to see that one is up for sale. MGTD. There's always some great looking pre-war cars at the motor shed. That's an AC Tourer, that one, a Doctor's Coupe probably actually. This is an Austin 16, okay. Austin, I was thinking it's probably quite a bit bigger. So the Austin 10 and Austin 8 would be quite a bit smaller than this. I was actually starting to think, yeah, it's quite a bit bigger. So this is an Austin 16, which I think had a 2.2 litre engine, as opposed to what was probably like a 1.1 in the Austin 8. But yeah, that's just a lovely car. I really do like the look of that. An Alvis here, that's a TA, I think that one is. Just post-war era once again, an MGA fixed head. It's gorgeous. Humber's been here for quite a while, probably a few years. Humber, like 20/25, 1928 tax disc. That one, MGTC. Pre-war cars are just their business, aren't they? A couple of little Austin 7 specials here. There's actually some vintage bike goodness here. That's actually incorrect. This old bicycle has been fitted with a sort of Cycle Master engine, so that little engine that would spin up, you obviously have to pedal to start going. It's a Phillips bicycle, this one. It was a speedo that gave it away, because I thought, why would you need a speedo on a push bike? Well, that's a, oh, what is it? It's a, oh, a Power Packs engine on the back. It's not actually a Cycle Master. You could buy a Cycle Master as a wheel. The Power Packs was a unit that just went over the top of the wheel, and that would sort of probably pull this lever and it'd engage it and it would spin against the rubber tyre. It's obviously a lady's bike with a loop frame. That's a really cool little period accessory. Once again, the motor shed is packed full of many, many vintage cars. It's always good to have a little look at what has changed inside here. I don't recognise this MG. This is an MGP, a midget. Quite a few Austin 7 specials. That's a very, very nicely styled, probably aluminium bodied by the looks of it. Austin 7 special. There's this curious three-wheeler here. I've seen this before. It's quite an unusual one. It's an Austin 7 special just here. Such a strange little micro car. That one you can just see actually the front wheel, just the one there. Absolutely packed full of cars. That's a gorgeous little car. I've seen it before. Lovely, lovely little Austin. I don't recognise this little racer. There's a Smart BSA. That's a Austin 7, like an Opel Cabriolet. There's a mini race car over there. You can just see the roof of it. That Sunbeam is absolutely fantastic. There's an MG, I think that's like a period race car, something there. MGA in front of it. Glorious pre-war era Triumph bike. I do like that. There's a Morris 8 Series E, Renault NN, Austin Healey, either a big Healey or 106. Another Austin 7 Tourer. There's an AC Cobra over there as well. And that's a curious, like, American racer. Let's have a look at that one. I should remember what this is, really. It has been out before, but that's a really cool American racer. But it's just so cool to see all these vintage cars, all up for sale, of course, in the lovely old motor shed. Something for everyone here at the Bicester Scramble. 1920s cars up to the modern present day in technology, the most modern supercars, the fastest on sale at the moment. I think that's a McLaren 750S. That particular one, quite a sleek looking car with the broad speed and AMG cars just behind. This is an interesting car. What's this? This is a Kellison. This one, never heard of this one before. Looks to perhaps be an American, or at least American engine, I'd imagine. Special, a Kellison gated manual gearbox. Very streamlined car. That looks quite impressive, that. I love the speedo. Beautiful miles per hour. It's funny how the driver has got all those gauges over there and then the speedo's all the way over here, because of course speed doesn't matter, revs are more important. 13,000 miles, but it's a lovely, lovely dial on that very stripped out interior one. I think is probably at least an American engine special, this one. Quite a collection of VW Golfs here, but there's something on my left which looks very, very tasty indeed. Wow, so this, by the looks of it, is a Ferrari 275. Yeah, the likes of the Ferrari 250 now, the 250 and 275 name. So it's the 250, that refers to the cubic centimetre capacity of each cylinder. So the 250 had a 3 litre V12, which means if you do your maths, it's 250cc per cylinder. And these have, I think it works out as a 3.3 litre V12, so it's a 275cc per each individual cylinder. So it's a bigger engine when compared. Oh, there's another one. Oh, I'll have to have a look at that. So it's a bigger engine when compared with the 250 by, what's it, a quarter of a litre or so. It's a later car than the 250s. It's just amazing, isn't it? I really do love the look of 275s. A lot of people actually forget about them and just sort of remember the likes of the 250s, but these perhaps even more usable with the bigger engine. Stunning, stunning front. That looks to be a long nose. I think they're available in long nose and short nose forms. And just as we go away from that one, we see another absolute, oh wow, there's quite a collection of classic Ferraris in here. So this, we'll start with this one. This is another 275 long nose, I think. Pininfarina design. Wow. This is the Haggerty Insurance building we're in at the moment, and they've got quite a collection of... Wow! Blimey, they've got some stuff in here, haven't they? This is another 275 Ferrari, this one in red. Wow! It's, of course, hugely desirable cars. Another long-nosed 275 Ferrari. All these V12 and well into the millions. That's not bad decorating for your sort of inside of your house, is it? 4 Ferrari 275s. And there's another very special pair of cars here. This is either an Eagle E-Type or a very similarly modified recreation Jaguar E-Type. This is the real deal. This is the Eagle Speedster. We've all seen it on Top Gear, I'm sure. The Eagle Speedster, a recreation, resto mod you could say, of the classic E-Type Series 1. I think it's a larger XK straight, so it's like a 4.4, a really large engine in these. It's left-hand drive, interestingly, this Eagle Speedster. Obviously a wider body when compared to the original E-Type. Stunning, stunning car. And that is the Gordon Murray T50, which is designed by Gordon Murray. It's in the name, who also designed the likes of the McLaren F1. You can see this fan here, I think, that offers like extra power. It's a naturally aspirated V12 in this car that's designed more for driving pleasure rather than sort of speed, although it would be very, very fast indeed. You can see the central driving position, that also harks back to the likes of the McLaren F1. Quite a similar looking car at first glance, but that is actually brand new, that one. But I was not expecting this. What a stunning collection of classic Ferraris there are here. Definitely been getting quite a few detailed photos of these beautiful Ferrari 275s. Once again, CarTraction_vids if you want to see some of the finer, more detailed aspects of these glorious classic Ferrari 275s. Just amazing to see all these cars together. The silver one's a left-hand drive. This is interestingly a right-hand drive Ferrari 275, and then to see the Gordon Murray T50 and the Eagle Speedster. Just absolutely amazing to see these cars. Very, very sleek Alvis 1250 here. We'll have a little look around this section as well. Some slightly later cars, isn't it? A GT500 Mustang. Very minty, quite good looking actually. Mark 1 MX-5, the yellow one's at home today because the Jag XJ8 is quite a bit better for motorways. A couple of Porsche 911s there as well. It just keeps on going, the Sunday Scramble. Such a huge event. The atmosphere is just brilliant, isn't it? Another lovely, lovely Porsche 911. Just beyond the M3 is a lovely Citroen. I think that's a DS21 or 23, that one. With those lamps. Such an incredible looking car. A couple of 911s, a Carmen Ghia. That one looks very, very nice in white. Peugeot 205, that's a 1.3 Rally. There's a Series 2 or, yes, Series 2. Jaguar E-Type, that looks quite good in green. MGA. McLaren, a Honda NSX. The glorious Bentley, that's probably a flying spur, that one. Wow, that's my favourite out of the lot actually. Wow. What a beautiful car that is. Beautiful, thrumming, straight 6 engine up front and... Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, I can't believe it. No. No. Oh. God. Why? Oh, that's... Oh, I'm sure you can hear the disappointment in my voice. I don't get either EV converting old cars. Just why? Why? I can see like the battery setup down there, something to do with the electric motors, but I think that would have had a beautiful, beautiful, quiet 6-cylinder engine up front. It would have been perfectly capable. It would have been a reliable engine. and then someone decides to put an electric motor. This is just my personal opinion. I'm not condoning electric cars as a whole, but for me, it's just why? Well, sorry, I realise I've spent too long on one car, but let me know what you guys think about this car. But I think it's a Bentley Flying Spur, but I really don't agree with that being EV converted. I really don't agree with that. Okay, moving on. Oh, that's actually ruined my day, that. No, there's plenty of other actual proper engined cars around. Got the Alpines here. Oh, that would have been just such a lovely car, that Bentley. But no, I don't understand why people EV convert things. Alfa Romeo, Pininfarina designed. Another lovely Porsche 911. Bentley here, hopefully this one isn't EV converted. Very, very eye-catching colour scheme on this one. This is the Mark VI Bentley, I think. This is the first of the crew era Bentleys where Bentley bodied their own car. Usually Bentleys were just sold as a sort of chassis, and then you'd get, say, Park Ward, Mulliner to body it. But I think these were the first cars that Bentley themselves actually bodied. The Mark VI, the first crew era Bentleys as well. Bentley moved to crew in 1946, I believe. If you'd like to learn more about Bentleys, check out my Bentley Heritage Collection video. That was quite an interesting day indeed. Well, that's quite a car. This is a Ferrari F40 here, a very sort of iconic 1980s poster car. On the end over here is a super cool Dodge route van. I was going to say panel van actually, but a route van apparently. That looks quite lowered, but a nice and original truck on the outside. Maybe someone's got to it and put a huge V8 in it. I don't know. Probably would have had a V8 originally. Great sign writing. I'm sure that's actually a really, really rare old commercial. I've never seen one of those before at all. Great looking old van, that. The Silver Shadow's parked up here next to the big American. I'm not sure what that one is. And the Citroen SM. These are wild cars. Now here's a little blast from the past. We used to have a Volvo PV544 quite a few years ago. It was bright blue. I think Dad sold it to someone he knew, and they've still got it to this day. We also more recently, only a few years ago, had a PV444. This is the 544 bigger engine. It's got a B18 Volvo 4-cylinder engine. They're such a great shape, these. This one looks like it's done up for period rally events. Very, very distinctive looking car. Yeah, the Volvo PVs are fantastic. There's a lovely pair of old enamel badges on this one. We're now at the Hero ERA headquarters. Here, Hero ERA organise a range of classic car rallies, actual competitive rallies, not just like, they do all sorts like rallies, sort of round cones and things like that, actual rallies off-road, in forests, etc. And then like timed rallies where you have to keep to an average speed. The highlight for me is this Ponton Mercedes on the end. That's a really cool sort of almost Dakar spec rally car with those tyres. Probably far from the most competitive car, but that's a really good looking rally car, that. It's always worth having a look inside the event building as well, where we find an absolutely glorious Fraser Nash BMW. That looks much more of a road car than a rally car, with a lovely Mille Miglia badge on it. A period road race for sale, this particular Fraser Nash BMW, early 1930s in date. Absolutely gorgeous design. Yeah, let's see what we can find in here. Hello, Dad. This is a Fiat 500. Here, there's always some interesting cars back here. Let's see what there will be at the back of this building. Oh, wow, look at that. That's another beautiful Fraser Nash BMW. That's most likely a 328 Roadster. That one, a 328 Fraser Nash BMW. Lovely. I think it's probably a twin cam 6-cylinder engine, which was the foundation for the likes of the Bristol engines that went into the AC Aceca. So it's quite a long life, the sort of basic engine design of this Fraser Nash BMW here. It's a Series 1 E-Type left-hand drive, quite interestingly. That one, another left-hand drive car, is this BMW 2002, and another left-hand drive car is this Triumph TR4A, an MGA, right-hand drive rally car, that one. Porsche 911, very smart 105 series Alfa Romeo, most likely a GTV. Great looking little rally car there. It's a W123 Estate Mercedes. That'd be quite a nice car to own, wouldn't it? TR4 with a nice Surrey top on that one. Morris Mini Moke, that's actually a very, very early Mini Moke. Little Frog Eye Sprite, Austin Healey Sprite Mark 1. Fiat 124 Spider, great collection of cars in here, aren't there? MGA. Porsche 356 Speedster or 356 Roadster. Lancia Fulvia, that really pops in orange, doesn't it? Beautiful AC Tourer, that's a really, really smart looking car. We know someone who actually used to have a silver AC Roadster like this one, who's also involved with the VSCC Club, the Vintage Sports Car Club. He sold it for an Aston Martin, the world's oldest Aston Martin, I think, actually. And that's a BMW 2002 to round off this very nice collection in the Rally Organisers building. Beautiful Mercedes rolling through. Such a quality car, that. Last of the Fintail Mercs. This yellow, last of the air-cooled era Porsche 911 really pops in that colour, doesn't it? Just beyond the PV544 there's a Corvette and a lovely Mark 1 Mini. That's a good looking racer there. It's a 992 generation Porsche 911. Just keeps on going, this show. I'd say we're only really halfway through in terms of the cars here. There's an R32 Golf and a VR6 Carrada, but I like the look of this little Alfa Romeo Giulia left-hand drive. I think these were only produced in left-hand drive, really. Fantastic little car, that one. More modern Porsches. There's an older Porsche Targa there. The Renault Alpine GTA. GR Yaris, another Porsche 911 Turbo. It's a BMW 1M. I think those are quite desirable cars now. Just beyond the Fiat Coupe, there's a very cool coffee truck. Beautiful Jaguar XK140 here. Triple SU carb, twin cam XK straight 6. Very, very lovely car. It's a Herald 1250 convertible here. That's an absolutely immaculate car, that one. There's a more modern Porsche here. 992, I think that one. It's a Ford Fiesta Mark 1 XR2. Some rare little hatchbacks here. It's quite an extreme Renault 5 here. Is this, oh, I should know it. Is it a Renault 18? This one may be. I'll have to have a look around the back. It's an original French car being left-hand drive. Oh, Renault 16 TL. I was close with that one. Little Fall Thunder in that one. Such a funky little car, isn't it? Very, very distinctive French design. Great looking little car, that I do quite like that. And this is a interesting little Seat here. So rare. This is an early Seat Ibiza, 1989. Lots more beautiful classic cars have turned up. One of my favourites being this glorious Aston Martin DB2/4. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful Aston Martin. Nice Aston Martin Owners Club enamel badge. That's quite an old accessory in itself, but just look at that beautiful shape. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous car. Look how streamlined the door handles are. It tapers to the back so beautifully. You can tell I like this sort of car. I liked the AC Aceca earlier. Yeah, the sort of 50s classic British GTs really do it for me. Jaguar XK150, DB2/4, Aceca, cars like that. Just absolutely beautiful. Now here's a car that probably quite a few people will overlook, but it's actually a very significant car. Now this is the Mini 9X from 1969, and this is basically a prototype car. It was never produced, but this was the sort of prototype for a car that would come after the original Mini design. So it's also AC Aceca designed. You can see a lot of similar features when compared to the early Mini designs, when in fact the Minis were actually produced until the 1990s, weren't they? But this is sort of a proposed project to sort of replace the Mini, another very affordable little family car that BMC never decided to make. So actually a very, very interesting little car. That's the Mini 9X hatchback prototype. Well, here's a TR4 with a difference. Look at this for a hardtop. Absolutely gorgeous shooting brake style on this. This is a Dove hardtop, this one. Black wire wheels. Wow, that looks so nice, doesn't it? So it's a GTR4. This is TR4, GTR4 Dove, or Dove GTR4. So it's Triumph TR4 basically with a beautiful hardtop. I love these sort of GTs, as I was saying, with the Aceca and the DB2/4 earlier. Really, really unique example of a Triumph TR4. Looks so nice on those black wire wheels, but it's a gorgeous body on the back of it. I really, really love the look of that. What a shame that was never sort of produced en masse. Interesting little Daihatsu here. Twin cam 16 valve turbo, wow. This is a great little Renault Twingo. These are absolutely everywhere in France. They're quite an iconic little design, but this is an absolutely immaculate car. But yeah, it's a very, very common sight in the likes of France. We'll see the A sticker on the back. That's similar to like a British L plate. I think you need that 2 years after you've had your driving licence in France. I think it stands for apprendre, which is learner, something like that in French. It's just such an iconic little car, these Twingos, and they sold in the millions, and there's still millions of them in France. It's really interesting to see the contrast in sort of societies where they sort of keep these old cars going, as most of the cars on the road in the UK now are pretty much, you know, younger than 5 years old. And the French do keep them going. So this is, it's a Visa, I think. Yeah, Citroën Visa, I think this one is. Quite a few French cars here today. This is a Citroën Visa GTI. And the alloy wheels, the decals, and the spoiler give it away. Super rare variant of the Citroën Visa. Interrupting the French theme is this Saab. This is the 95, so the V4 Estate. It's a good looking car, that. A Citroën Traction Avant, standing for front wheel drive. This is the Heavy, so that's the much longer wheelbase Citroën Traction. There's a Triumph TR4 in bright blue over there. And a Toyota, I think that's a Corolla rally car. There's a VW, and it sounds like the Zack Speed Ford Escort is perhaps struggling a little bit to fire up. Well, we just saw a fastback Triumph TR4, and this seems to be another one, maybe another interesting GTR4 Dove or something similar. We saw the red one earlier. This seems to have a very, very similar hardtop arrangement. I wonder if it is the GTR4. Yes, it is the TR4 Dove, so it is also the GTR4. This is from 1963, complete rebuild from 1994. One owner since 1990, 10,500 miles since it has been rebuilt. Quite the restoration there. Sounds like the Mark II Escort's fired up now. Very, very loud. We might have to go and have a look at that.
Very good.
Go and touch one of the exhausts.
Right, well I can talk now because it is not running anymore. It's certainly a pretty good way to lose your hearing. So this is the Sunbeam 350 land speed record car. This is, I feel like it's usually at the Bewley Motor Museum, this one, but it's come out today. Dad's also come to have a look at this one. So yes, natural original 1920s, 30s land speed record car, this one. We'll try and get a look at the engine. Those are obviously the exhaust straight out the manifold. No silencing, 6-cylinder. We'll have a look around this beautifully streamlined tail. This one, as I said, a land speed record car driven by Henry Seagrave. I'm sure we'll get a good look at the engine in a bit.
Straight. Yeah, straight. Oh right, yeah. It's good when it's no good for it. There's too many corners. Yes, yeah. Electric fan, yeah.
Well, what a spectacular car that was. I gotta say, this has probably been one of the best Sunday Scrambles so far. We're probably only sort of 2/3 of the way through, maybe not even that. I just love how the owners occasionally just decide to fire up the cars for fun, and then there's just huge crowds of mass to listen to the epic sound. And in this case, I think what was a huge 6-cylinder, I wasn't able to look at the engine that closely, but for me, this sort of thing just does so much more than the modern cars, but each to their own, you know. So let's see what else we can find that we walked past while looking for the Henry Seagrave Sunbeam, which was making its fantastic noise. If this is the car I'm thinking of, it is a Stutz, an American sort of roadster special racer. It is, that is a oh no it isn't, no it's not the car I was thinking of. This is, oh yes, a Woods. This is another very early American sports car. Yes, a Woods, so not a Stutz. I think the Stutz actually lives over there somewhere, so I'm sure we'll see it today, but no, that is a Woods, that particular one. It's quite a cool car, that, isn't it? The M5 Touring. This Riley RM is for sale. There's another Riley RM just over there. Great looking little pre-war racer here. This is a Riley. This is the Riley Blue Diamond standard sort of service, restore, fettle up. Many a vintage Riley, although the MGB is a bit of an intruder. As is the Mercedes CE and the Bentley. That's another Mark 6. That one, nice original car. That one by the looks of it. And they have there, of course, lovely little Blue Diamond liveried van. Little Riley 9 or Riley 12. Probably most likely a Riley 9 van, this one. Beautiful, that's another beautiful little Riley special here. There's an Aston Martin DBS over there. That's quite a sleek one, absolutely mint condition. This Riley, the pre-selector gearbox in this one. Here is the Blue Diamond garage itself. That's like a Riley Brooklands esque racer over here. This one's actually an Aston Martin racer, obviously both pre-war. There's like a Riley Monaco saloon up on the ramps there. Very nice little collection of pre-war racers there. I think we'll now have a little look at the classic performance engineering stand. They always have some very, very tasty cars in there. Some tasty cars outside. Got some Jags, E-Type and a Mark II. Dodge Charger RT, very cool indeed. See Marcos over here. And a much later like a Marcos Mantula or something, that one. But there's always some tasty vintage racing cars in here. So let's have a little. Whoa, wow. So here's it's a Jaguar Mark 1. This is a Goodwood eligible, probably raced at Goodwood Jaguar Mark 1, but look at that. Glorious lightweight E-Type, either a lightweight recreation or an original car, I don't know, you just can't tell, to be honest. Stunning car. There's an original D-Type long nose over there as well, with the fairing behind the driver, the longer front as opposed to the short nose, which is also a very successful race car. A couple of single seaters over there and an Alfa Romeo or something similar on the end. Amazing, amazing cars here. What is this one? A little 50s era single seater. This is a Kieft by the look of it. Kieft made sort of little 500cc coupers. I didn't know they made front engined cars, so that's very, very nice indeed. This Series 1 E-Type is still undergoing a significant restoration. It's another lovely Porsche. Oh, it's a Gordon Keeble, that over there. I mistook it for an Alfa, but that's actually quite a bit larger than an Alfa Romeo. That's a Gordon Keeble, I think. Oh, thank you. Is it? Oh. Oh, wow. An engine fire in that Gordon Keeble. Oh, dear. There's an XK120 over there. And is that a 330? Is it that Ferrari?
Replica, very, very good replica.
So is that based on maybe a GTE or something?
No, do you know, I think that was actually a Nissan 370Z or something. One of the Nissans, I think.
240Z. I think,
like
yeah,
that.
I think I've seen one like that actually. It's certainly from here. It looks really convincing. It does look very, very smart. Yeah. That is one very faithful 250 GTO or 330 GTO. I think that was another one. Replica in front of the Porsche. Yes, some very tasty cars in there. So that was a Datsun 240Z or something similar. That Ferrari, either a 330 GTO or a 250 GTO. It's a Jaguar C-Type here. This one's quite a common sight at the Classic Performance Engineering Workshops. You guessed it, the predecessor to the D-Type Jaguar, both very successful cars. In this garage, which I think is usually the Morgan workshop actually, there is a Neo EP9, which is a pretty much brand new electric hypercar. There's actually two of the things there. Such a contrast, a sort of peak of modern electric technology, and then the beautiful old buildings here at the Bicester Heritage Centre. We've already seen one Gordon Murray T50 here today, but there's a whole collection of the things here. There's a blue T50 and an orange T50. Wow, how many of these have they got together? That's the third one in this particular section. These are all incredibly rare cars, all sort of millions and millions of pounds. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Gordon Murray T50s. Wow. What an amazing collection, eh? And just sat over here is an absolutely gorgeous little Morris Mini. Lovely Porsche 356C. That looks really nice in the sort of turquoise colour. Beautiful car and the steel wheels. Let's see what else you can find. This is, I think, a resto modded MGB. The Corvette with the pop-up headlights, the pop-up headlights era. Lovely, fairly early Alfa Romeo Spider. Probably like works out as the Mark II roughly, I think, that one. It's a boat tail, but I think a slightly later boat tail, but the boat tails were the early ones, so yeah, that's a lovely, lovely Alfa Romeo Spider 1300 Junior. It's a 105 series Alfa Romeo 1750 over there. Just beyond that, a Mercedes 190E. Here we have a young artist imitating Colin McRae's Subaru. Now this is the old blast house for Bicester's time when it was a operating World War II airfield, but there's always a fantastic collection of cars in here. So let's see if we can get a little look at this lot. Wow, so up front it's the Series 1 E-Type Roadster with a hardtop. Then there's a Mercedes 300 SL Roadster in silver, absolutely gorgeous car. Looks to be an AC Cobra there, then an XK150 Cabriolet. And if that wasn't good enough, there's a Jaguar XJ220 in blue, and an XK120 back there an AC Ace, that's the convertible variant of the Aceca we saw earlier, a 300 SL Gullwing. Those were sold as steel-bodied and alley-bodied cars. I'd be very surprised if that was alley-bodied. They only made about 26 or so, I think, alley-bodied cars. The vast majority steel-bodied. And there's a road race-looking E-Type fixed-head coupe over there. What a collection of cars we have here. My favourites probably both being the wonderful classic Mercedes counterparts. The Gullwing's just a stunning, stunning car. Should also mention the Jaguar XK120 over there is actually an aluminium bodied car. The only first sort of 200 or so were produced as aluminium bodied cars before Jaguar moved to mass production with the XK120 and made it into the steel bodied XK120, so that's one of the really rare first cars. Yeah, what a collection of classic sports cars are here. Just absolutely stunning, stunning garage. Little Jaguar section. This is quite an interesting SV modified Jaguar XE. I think it's the Project 8, that one. There's a Jaguar Formula E car. I think Jaguar won the Formula E Championship this year, as far as I know, and this is by far my favourite out of the lot. A TWR Jaguar XJS V12. This would sound insane. It's evolution once again, like the broad-speed Jag we saw earlier of the 5.3 litre Jaguar V12 engine, but that would sound absolutely glorious. Such an iconic livery as well. That's a Project 7 Jaguar there, which I think is a sort of tuned up F-Type and sort of evocative of the likes of the D-Type long nose we saw earlier with the fairing at the back. I think that's the idea with that one. And handy for reference, just beyond the Series 1, just for reference, we have a long nose D-Type, which is pretty tasty. The steel wheels on those really suit them. Gorgeous shape, so streamlined. Le Mans racer, of course. Just one of the most iconic classic racing cars, I think. Absolutely fantastic car. Oh, this is a continuation, this one. Oh, I didn't know that. This is the first continuation D-Type there. Just beyond the D-Type continuation is a C-Type continuation, which is also very interesting. I didn't know there were continuations, official Jaguar continuations of those. There's one cool back window on the Buick Riviera. And here's the Eagle stand. Here it's the Bicester Heritage Sunday Scramble. A wild variety of E-Types, various tunes. This is another Eagle Speedster, like the one we saw inside the Haggerty building earlier. Very, very few of these made. And this is the Eagle Low Drag GT, which is the Eagle take on the sort of lightweight, the lightweight or semi-lightweight classic E-Type racing cars. Just looks lovely. The steel wheels once again. There's a Series 1 Roadster there, but this is probably my favourite. The beautiful Eagle Low Drag GT. I know I said I'd be focusing on the more classic and vintage cars here today, but this is quite an interesting one. This is a Bentley Batour, which is like the latest new Bentley model. I dread to think how much that costs. But much more my sort of Bentley is this. Now this might be, I don't think it is actually, this is, well, it's certainly a vintage blower Bentley. I thought it might be the iconic Le Mans winning car from the actual Bentley factory that we looked at. I'm not sure if it's that one, but it's most likely going to be a period race car anyway. Just the best looking cars, aren't they? I don't think it's actually a blower, this one, because we see no supercharger, no huge supercharger on the front. So this is a speed. Oh, this is the continuation cars from Bentley. So this is, oh yes, I think I did see this one on the Bentley tour actually, all filmed for the channel. This is a brand new car, believe it or not. This is the Bentley Speed 6 continuation. There is quite a popular trend going on at the moment of sort of brands continuating their vintage cars, and Bentley's sort of hopped on the bandwagon with this 2023 Bentley Speed 6 continuation. Interesting little set of cars here. Got the Ford Street car, I think that one is, the convertible variant of the Ford car. Those are going to be desirable cars one day. And we saw these actually on the way over, the Nissan Pao and the Nissan Figaro. I didn't see the other one. I think these all arrived in convoy, but I didn't get to see what this is. Probably another sort of Nissan retro car of some sort. Not sure what that one is. Now here's a bit of patina for you. What is this? Oh, it's a Ford Model T. Yeah, I thought it was that, but I didn't want to say. So this would actually be quite a late Ford Model T, but it's absolutely lovely. 1921, so that's actually quite late, I'd say, for a Ford Model T. The two-door, you could say it's a coupe actually, couldn't you? But well, that's just great, isn't it? Lovely lamps. Just how beautifully original is this paint? That's just amazing, isn't it? That's an amazing looking car. It's for sale actually. 16,250 for the coach built Model T in stunning original condition. I'd say for such an original and unmolested car, it must have been put away at some point. That doesn't seem bad actually, because that is just such an eye catcher. Certainly for me, that's one of my favourite cars of the day. Now I think this is a Triumph Vitesse. Now when I say Triumph Vitesse you probably think it might be a Dolomite actually. I think this is most like the Vitesse, the six-cylinder car. When I say Vitesse you sort of think 70s Triumph, sort of quite boxy cylinder, but this is the pre-war Vitesse. I think they were sold alongside the likes of the Gloria and the Dolomites, all the older Triumph names. Triumph sort of reawoke for the later sort of Triumph Dolomite cars and the Triumph Vitesses, but this is the pre-war name of Vitesse, which is just a lovely, lovely car. Split window, such a beautifully designed car that is. But yeah, not many people will know the actual model of these, and yeah, beautiful, beautiful vintage Triumph. What else is there? There's an MG, that's a TC by the looks of it, that one, and an interesting little special over there. Very handsome Aston Martin V8 over here. Do like the look of that one, but I really love the look of this Alfa Romeo GTA here. This is the step nose car, I think, the Giulia Coupe. Wow, that's very tastefully modified. If anyone's heard of Alphaholics, this is the sort of thing they do, but that looks a sort of personally modified car. Fantastic looking Alfa Romeo there. Right, let's have a little look at these interesting little specials. There's a pair of bucklers here. These are little aluminium bodied specials, I'm sure, based on some form of road car. Interesting ones these. They look like period creations. They're not something someone's cobbled together late. It's all period fittings. That looks an interesting little car. There's a closed wheel one here, which is actually for sale, this particular one. Very, very unusual little car this. It's quite interesting. It's a side valve full cylinder, so it's actually based on quite old underpinnings. You've got drum brakes, I think, all round on this one. This is from 1953, so this is actually on sort of quite primitive underpinnings. Although we do have twin carbs, we've got an aquaplane part. So I wonder if that's maybe like a little Austin 7 engine or something by the looks. Oh no, Ford. Maybe like a Ford 1172. It looks smaller than 1172 somehow. This is a Buckler 90. There, twin carbs, twin SU carbs with an aquaplane intake manifold. That's quite an interesting little car, that. This must be a rarity in front of what I think is the Triumph Vitesse. A Rover, I think it's the 220 Coupe. There's always a few interesting cars dotted around here, probably the rarest of which has to be the super original Renault 5 Gordini G5, or the Renault G5 Gordini. Super rare and really original car. First MG midget I think we've seen of the day. There's a few more of your sort of typical classic cars dotted around here. Fiat Coupe, a Morgan 3-wheeler. That's a lovely Daimler V8. We saw the SP250 Dart earlier. This has the same Edward Turner V8 engine in it. So that, yeah, as I said earlier, that is the same engine, and that's based on the Jaguar Mark II. And this is a Ferrari 400i automatic, probably one of the most affordable and usable Ferraris. Late 1970s, early 80s and era. 3-speed auto. Very interesting car, that. I do quite like the look of those though, yeah. I do quite like that. The Daimler looks super, super shiny under the trees here. So many interesting cars. It's the variety of Bicester, isn't it? Morris 8, Series 2, an MGA, that's a Mark II, so quite a late one. What is this little red creation over here? This is a Quantum. This one, I really don't know much about quantums. The very sharp Mercedes. I can see a theme emerging here. No, I would never enjoy. We unfortunately won't have time to look round the absolutely huge collection of cars that are parked up over here, but there's one car that stands out to me, so let's go and have a look at it. And over here is the car that stood out to me. Look at that. Beautiful Pininfarina designed, automatic booted, interestingly. I think this is a 365 GT 2+2. I think there are so many variants of these. Beautiful classic Ferrari GT, still using the same basic V12 engine as we saw in the 275s earlier. Is it a 365 2+2?
365 GT 2+2.
Oh, let's go! Alright, I'm quite proud of that. That's a wonderful car, that. I really love that. Yeah, that's not bad, is it? No. 4 seats and a big boot. And a V12, what's there not to like? What size is the V12 in this? Wow, that's big, isn't it? 4.4 litre V12 in the 365 GT 2+2. For me, that's the standout car from this section. We're back in the main show now. Not even Dad knows what the deal is with this unusual Rover 12 horsepower saloon, but that don't look like a saloon to me. That's like, I don't even know what that is. 1935, it's the Revel Special. This one is. It's a Rover 12 saloon. It was severely damaged in an accident in 1950 and it was rebuilt at Revel's garage, and I guess they did that to it. It kind of reminds me of a Triumph Roadster, actually, like the Triumph 2000 Roadster. It's a really interesting car. It's quite clear it's an older creation. I bet no one's looked at this today, but there are actually a few old bikes dotted around here. This looks a really nice old Sunbeam. Pre-war, because we have the 3-speed selector here. It's got the very ornate shape of handlebars, which is very much a pre-war thing. Little bit of a mossy seat, nice original chain guard. That's pre-war, isn't it? Early 30s, I think.
Yeah, Sunbeam. It's got the early style of steering arch.
Yeah, on the down tube. Well, no, it's not, is it? Actually, yeah, cross. That's it. Like the little horn, just like my one at home.
White tyres on it as well.
Yeah, they're old, aren't they?
And also non.
Oh, no, they're not actually. No, they're not.
On the rim.
These tyres are actually quite new, actually, but they're old style. Yeah, it might have had whites when it was new. That would actually scrub up really nice, that I reckon. That with quite a bit of WD-40 and maybe a new saddle. That would actually look really nice. GT40's on the move. This is one of the modern recreations.
So that's from the factory.
The Sunbeam's fired up again. This V8 Marcos looks pretty serious. We're in this little military section now with the Ford-built Jeep, and I just spotted this beautiful old motorcycle, the first motorbike I think I featured of the day. It's just stunning. This is an AJS, probably like a 350 or something like that, but it's very much pre-worn design with the sprung saddle. It's a Terry sprung saddle, but it's just the most gorgeous old bike, that. I love the sort of low slung stance of the pre-war bikes. This looks like perhaps an older restoration, or even probably original actually. Really beautiful condition, that one. And it's got the war blackout cover over the main headlight there. Just a fantastic looking motorbike, that. Poor old frog guy. It's a lovely Lotus Elan fixed head coupe. Some unfound gems in here. That's a Cobra.
Ferrari behind.
Yeah, GTE. I think it is 250 GTE. And what is that at the back? At first glance, that looks like a sort of 166mm. You know, like the Mille Miglia.
Right at
The Mille Miglia, sort of very late 40s, early 50s.
Could be.
If that's like a 166mm Barchetta or something like that, then that's quite a car. That GTE is lovely though. Left-hand drive. But yeah, if that's a genuine like period Ferrari race car by the look of it, that could be a real rarity at the back there. That GTE and the C-Type and the Cobra, all lovely cars, but yeah, that's maybe quite a find, that one at the back among the others.
My car is basically modelled on. Let's excuse me. Sorry. Hello.
Right, well, things are starting to wind down. The pagoda's off, so I think we'll join it soon and hopefully get back okay in the Jaguar XJ8. There have been some amazing cars today, such as the Type 35 Bugatti, the Delage, with the Aero engine. That's one nice sounding Merc. Yeah, we've seen some absolutely amazing classic and vintage cars today. Let me know if you could even possibly remember what your favourite would have been. That was certainly a very nice and usable Ferrari over there, the 365, although the 275s were very tasty indeed. So do let me know that, and while you're at it, make sure to subscribe, as we have, both me and Dad and All Classic Car have weekly classic car related automotive uploads, tinkering with our own things and going to places like these. So do make sure to check those out. There's over 200 videos on the channel already, so if you can't wait until next Sunday for the next weekly upload, here's the lovely Triumph for tests, then those should keep you quiet for a while. But I'll stop waffling now. It's been a fantastic day at the 2024 Bicester Heritage Sunday Scramble in October, I think it is. So goodbye and thanks for watching.